I finally got my new tent. It's taken me ages to select it because I've had very specific needs, well, not needs, but desires. There's certain things over the years of camping and times of using many different tents that I've figured out certain things I like and dislike, as you do. But this tent seems to cover all the bases. I'm very, very pleased. It's the Nigor Wickiup 4. It's, I think it's a Dutch make. And they do other bits and bats. But this kit is a full shelter. And it's very light and very roomy. It does come in 2 parts. You need to, if you want the whole thing, you have to buy it in separate things. This is the main fly sheet, the outer sheet, and on its own, it weighs around just over 1 kilogram. Now it does say on the spec that the whole pack with the poles, well, the pole, there's only one pole because it is a Tipi tent, and the pegs and this is about 1.4 kilogram, which is pretty good. So this on its own is it's about just over 1 kilogram, 1.1, 1.2, something like that. The aluminium poles are very light. The pole, and it just extends out to one big pole that goes up the middle. This is very light, well under, I'd say, a couple of 100 grams, and you get 10 aluminium pegs, stakes, whatever you want to call them, and these are light, but the whole thing together is about 1.4. Now if you want the inner, you have to buy that separately, and that is this. I have had it open, so it could be packed a lot better than this, a lot better with a compression sack. But this on its own weighs about 1.1, so it's nothing. The whole kit is, I would say, under 2.5 kilograms, and that's if you want to be proper luxury camping, as you call it, with the inner. But you can just use this set on its own with the outer, just like it's like a luxurious tarp with the pole, pegs, and this, and you've got yourself a really, really decent shelter at about well under 1.5 kilogram. I'd say 1.4, maybe even a bit less. Now, word of warning, if you do buy the whole set separately, you only get the pegs as stakes. With the fly sheet, you get nothing with the inner at all, with the inner tent. Just get the inner tent, and that's it. There is the Wickiup 3, which is slightly smaller, and a Wickiup 6, which is slightly bigger. But this, for what I needed, and I'll explain my specific needs later on, is perfect for me on my own. If I just take this, I mean, I could probably handle the whole kit on my own, but if I'm with a friend when I camp, we split the kit. One of us carries the fly sheet, the poles, the pegs, say. The other person carries this, or you split it up how you need. But with 2 people, this is an awesome size setup, and it also, like I say, answers very specific needs that I need. Now those needs that I was speaking of range from, really are about my height, my size, and my age, my back. So I'm a fairly tall bloke, about 6'4", so I've always struggled with small, lightweight backpacking tents. Always. They've never give you a great deal of room. I've also chucked on a few pounds as I'm getting older, so I need some space. This gives me some space. Not only floor space, but height. Height is important. A lot of these 1-2 man tents, they're really low. So when you're in there, you kind of feel like you're in a bit of a coffin. Especially the 1 man tents, the real lightweight ones, yeah, you can get them really lightweight, but there's no room in them. There's no room. There's no room for your kit. There's no room for you, especially if you're a big guy. Now, I'm a pretty big guy, and if I'm on my own, I've got, this is massive, massive. If I'm with a friend, it's still my friend that comes camping and hiking with me. He's about 6 foot, so we're both big guys. We need some room, and this thing, it is a 4-man tent. It's classed as a 4-man tent. Comfortably, you could fit to a couple of kids or a kid, or I mean, you could squeeze. You could squeeze, but comfortably, you don't want to go over 3. You really don't. And with it being the pole in the middle, because the Wickiup 3, that is a more of a hexagonal size shape. Whereas this is basically a square with a bit of a cut angle, and it's 2.90 meters basically, which is loads of room for me, as you'll see, and 1.74 high. Now that's important, not only for comfort when you're in there, but getting in and out. No longer have to get in and out on your hands and knees and struggle. Put your shoes on your seat. You know, you can just stand up. Yes, granted, you're bent over, but you can come out of the tent on your feet. You can put your shoes on, stood up. That's a big deal if you've got a bit of an iffy back. It's great. Because I didn't get pegs with the inner tent, I thought, I'll buy some. Now I made a mistake. I bought some. I was looking for some, because this is all the lightweight kit. I wanted to keep along that philosophy and get some lightweight pegs, and I went a bit too carried away and found these. I didn't check the size. I just thought, oh, pegs are pegs. They're pretty much all the same size. And I found some titanium ones that claimed to be 1 gram each. I thought it was a pack of 6. About 13 quid, 14 quid. Anyway, they've come. I don't even know if you can see that. I got 6 of them, and I don't recommend them. I really do not. I'm trying to put the tent up, and when I put the pole up, these just flew straight out. They're not long enough. They're not big enough. Yes, they're light. I've even lost one already, just because I couldn't find it again. Because not only are they too small and light, I don't quite know what they're for as far as what ground you'd put them in to be secure. But because of the yellowy greeny end, if you put it in grass and it sinks right in, this just blends in with the yellow and greeny strands of grass. So I've lost one, but it doesn't really matter because I won't be using them anyway. I need to get some more. It's really good shelter. I'm really pleased with it, and we're going out using it very soon.